welcome to Once Upon a Story. I am Professor Dr. Graus, OBE. I am the Global Education Director for Kidzania, and I am also very proud to be a visiting professor at the National Research University in Moscow. I'm here today to tell you a story. To do that, I decided to become a story character. Me, a story character, an animated cartoon character, and I chose to be a little turtle. So yes, this little turtle is me, Professor Dr. Graus, OBE. Hello there. Before I start reading the story, I would like to introduce you to Madeline. And I'd also like to show you a few pictures of where she lives and who her friends are. So let's have a look. Here is Madeline, bright and cheerful, with her hat outside the house where she lives. And here is the house again, but this time there is Madeline and her friends and her teacher, Miss Clavel. Perhaps you can get a clue as to where Madeline lives if you take a good look at the picture. Madeline lives in a city where there is a beautiful old church called Notre Dame, and you can see Madeline and her friends scurrying away at the bottom there under their umbrellas. In the evening, they sometimes visit the opera house, which again is very beautiful, and you can see the girls and Miss Clavel coming out of the opera house. Sometimes they visit the zoo, and almost all the girls are a little scared of the tiger, but not, of course, Madeline. Another beautiful church on top of a hill is called Sacré-Cœur, and you can see the girls looking round, walking up the hill. And finally, the biggest clue. Where does Madeline live? Do you recognize the building? Do you recognize the structure? Of course, it's the Eiffel Tower, and Madeline lives in Paris. And now for the story. Are you ready? Here we go. In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines. In 2 straight lines, they broke their bread and brushed their teeth and went to bed. They smiled at the good and frowned at the bad. And sometimes they were very sad. They left the house at 9:30 in 2 straight lines. In rain or shine, and the smallest one was Madeline. She was not afraid of mice. She loved winter, snow and ice. To the tiger in the zoo, Madeline just said, "Pooh-pooh." And nobody knew so well how to frighten Miss Clavel. In the middle of one night, Miss Clavel turned on her light. She said, "Something is not right." Little Madeline sat in bed, cried and cried. Her eyes were red. And soon after Dr. Cohn came, he rushed out to the phone. and he dialed Danton 106. "Nurse," he said, "it's an appendix." Everybody had to cry, not a single eye was dry. Madeline was in his arm, in the blanket, safe and warm. In a car with a red light, they drove out into the night. Madeline woke up 2 hours later in a room with flowers. Madeline soon ate and drank. On her bed there was a crank, and a crack on the ceiling had the habit of sometimes looking like a rabbit. Outside were the birds, trees and sky, and so 10 days passed quickly by. One nice morning Miss Clavel said, "Isn't it a fine day to visit Madeline?" "Visitors from 2 to 4, read a sign outside her door. Tiptoeing with solemn face, with some flowers and a vase, in they walked and said, "Ah," when they saw the toys and candy and the doll's house from Papa. But the biggest surprise by far, on her stomach was a scar. "Goodbye," they said, "we'll come again." And the little girls left in the rain, brushed their teeth and went to bed. In the middle of the night, Miss Clavel turned on the light and said, "Something is not right." And afraid of a disaster, Miss Clavel ran fast and faster. And she said, "Please, children, do tell me what is troubling you." And all the little girls cried, "Boo-hoo! We want to have our appendix out too." "Good night, little girls. Thank the Lord you are well. Now go to sleep," said Miss Clavel. And she turned out the light and closed the door, and that's all there is. There isn't any more. And that was it. But before I go, I'd like to thank a few people who've helped me realize my dream. And they are the children and staff of Arbourthorne Community Primary School in Sheffield, my favourite school, who gave me the idea. My friends at Solidarity Sports, a charity in London where every child deserves happiness. Thank you to Solidarity Sports for listening to the story before we filmed it. And thirdly, to the wonderful people at Verne Vision who turned my dream into reality, and hopefully there will be many, many more. Thank you for being with me. I'm going to swim off and have a brilliant rest of the day. Bye for now.